What makes a place feel like home? Sometimes it's not the walls or the address, but the rhythm of daily rituals and the community that forms around them. Today, we're exploring how coffee shops can become unexpected anchors in our lives, shaping not just our routines, but our understanding of culture and belonging. This is a conversation about finding your place in the world, one cup at a time.
I really want to just a friendly reminder at the start, I guess, that we already have a friendship, so please don't feel like you have to sell yourself or anything. But I'm really excited to be able to hear maybe aspects of your story and your life that I haven't been able to ask yet. So, the overarching theme that I really want to explore is this idea of where is the place that has really impacted or shaped you in your life, in the course of your life. And that could be a city, that could be a country, that could be your house, some restaurant you went to, whatever it is, your school. It could be as broad as you want it, and it could be as specific as you want it. So I'm explaining this just to kind of give you some time to brew and sit with it. But for starters, I'm curious to hear what's the place that comes to mind?
There's something beautiful about how we discover patterns in our own lives, often without realizing it at first. What starts as a simple need can evolve into something much deeper.
Pretty interesting question. I think there is like a theme in my life, which is not, there's a series of places in some ways that have shaped me in very interesting ways. It's kind of like, for me, I feel at home in a new city when I find the coffee shop next to my house that I can just go to and disconnect from reality to go to a coffee shop close by. So I guess, and this trend almost like started in undergrad where my friends and I would go to like a coffee shop. We would walk together, get coffee, come back. And that would just kind of became ritualistic, getting coffee, connecting with people or yourself. And then over time, I kind of always forced myself to make space for a coffee place, right? So then when I moved back home, there was another coffee shop in Pune called Cafe Peter. And then I would introduce my friend to it. And then I would just always work out of Cafe Peter. Then when I moved to Mountain View in the US, there was a coffee shop called Red Rock Coffee where I would just go and be there spend a lot of time in some ways.
It's fascinating how specific we can be about the spaces that ground us. Not just any coffee shop will do. There are invisible criteria that make a place feel right.
A kind of mixed experience. Like when I was in East Bay, like in the Bay Area, that had its own, like I had a set of coffee shops. If it's a Starbucks, usually I'm not the happiest. Like if that becomes the go-to coffee shop, because they have good like internet and a decent like setup to like be there. But I want the place to feel more like, oh, I want to be here more and not just, it's not a transactional coffee relationship. It's just like the coffee vibes make me feel like more at home. And then since I moved to San Francisco, I tried to find a place. And then recently a new coffee shop opened like about a year and a half back, or almost 2 years back now, called St. Frank Coffee. So more recently, that's kind of become my spot. So whatever phase of life I am in, I think a coffee shop near me makes me feel very grounded and at home, because I'm like, okay, now I can live here. So even when I'm traveling, if I'm visiting a place for a longer period of time, my first instinct is find the coffee shop that will make you feel like, and I get frustrated if the coffee shop closes too early. Like sometimes you'll go to places in America, their coffee shop will close at 2 p.m. or something. I'm like, what? I want to like.
Sometimes our most meaningful discoveries happen out of necessity. What begins as solving a practical problem can open doors to entirely new worlds.
So I think I never understood this theme of my life till very recently, right? I was like, why I don't feel at home at certain places quickly versus not, like, why do I feel at home quickly at a certain place versus not, right? And it's kind of like finding that coffee shop, right? But naturally what happened is, so when I moved to Mountain View from India, right, it was away from home, away from family. And I was living with 4 other roommates, right? So it almost was like and in a 2-bed, 2-bath, right? So 5 people in a 2-bed, 2-bath is not great. Like, it's like 5 adults, right? It's not like like 2 kids and 2 adults. It's like 5 full-grown adult men, to make it very specific. So and because the commute was not very, I didn't have a car, and like any suburban America always like you require a car, right? So I kind of accidentally landed at this coffee shop, which was on the bus route.
What he found there was more than just a place to work. It was a window into something he hadn't experienced before.
Wow, like I just feel very different. And over time I started like, there was like a poetry, like I ran into people who are doing some like Persian poetry, for example, to like an Android meetup group where people were learning how to program Android phones. And every time, and there would be an open mic on a Monday evening at the same place, right? And I'm like, wow, there's so much diversity of this place, which kind of, it's not just a tech coffee shop where people are like talking about tech and all of that. Even that is happening, but almost like the coffee shop embodied this multitude of people. And then they would support local artists. So local artists would have their art posted, which you could buy from the artist. Like they were not like, they're more a community coffee hub, right? So I think coffee shops kind of embodied the community aspect through, I guess, capital in a weird kind of way. So you pay.
This insight about what we're really paying for when we buy that $4 coffee reveals something profound about how we value community and atmosphere.
Like, I'm not paying, like, I know coffee is expensive. It's like $6, $7 sometimes you're paying for coffee. I'm like, I'm paying the $2 or $3 for the coffee. The other $3 or $4 is my, like, for the culture and the vibe. Like, that's how I kind of justified it to myself. Like, it's not a purely financial transaction. What I'm paying for the environment. So it had 2 floors.
This raises an interesting question about how places shape our understanding of the world around us.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think what I'm reading or hearing between the lines is, of course, America and the place that you were going to school is inherently diverse, and there's a variety of culture that you can experience. Would you say like that is what opened you up, like to witness that kind of variety of culture? And I guess like it's a twofold question. It's like, is it this coffee shop that showed you culture? And do you feel like you were missing culture before being introduced to this kind of location?
It's remarkable how the spaces we choose to inhabit can become mirrors, reflecting back not just who we are, but who we're becoming. Coffee shops, libraries, parks, these aren't just locations on a map. They're the stages where we discover community, culture, and often ourselves. The next time you find yourself drawn to a particular place, whether it's a coffee shop, a bookstore, or a bench in the park, pay attention to what it offers beyond its obvious function. Sometimes the most ordinary places hold the most extraordinary possibilities for connection and growth. Thank you for listening, and remember, home isn't always where you started. Sometimes it's where you choose to return, again and again.